Jay, welcome to EV World.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bill. More appreciate this.
It is great to have you here, and thank you for having the workers. I guess you're having major renovations going on with jackhammers and pounding and stuff. So everybody's on lunch break. We got a couple minutes of peace here where we can talk about REV. All right, so let's start off. First of all, how does a guy go from being a snowboard champion to electric vehicle conversions?
Great question, and usually one of the first. Yeah, I've got a lot of answers for that, but to sum it up, spending a lot of time up in Whistler, BC here is a tremendous place to spend your youth in your 20s, but also a great place to escape and not have to worry about the things in the world. And I always laugh a little bit about the newspapers that you read in Whistler are usually about who won what gold medal and how good the powder is going to be tomorrow, as opposed to what's really going on in the world.
Right.
So it was March 2002. It's probably a significant month for many of us because that was the year or the month that the war in Iraq started. And I was coming from my 7th or 8th major injury after about 7 years. And so for this was downtime for me, letting my back heal from a major injury and working at a bar in Whistler and watching the war in Iraq take place. And it was a defining moment for me, but it was something that took a few months for me to make a decision on was, do I really want to spend the rest of my life working in a bar in Whistler, or do I really want to get involved? And so I spent a few months and I chose to get involved. So I proceeded to spend 5 years from 2002 to 2007 studying the alternative energy industries, looked at absolutely everything I could get my hands on, from biomethane production to freight and aviation and automotive, to see where we could make the biggest leverage point to our relationship to energy in the world. And it came down to the electric car all the way.
All right, good. Now,
yeah.
there's been some electric car activity previously in your area there. The guys at Dynasty Motors were building a small neighborhood electric vehicle. You've got, I think, Delta that is located up in that area doing
Delta Q, yeah,
Delta Q doing charging systems and things of that nature. So there's sort of a little bit of a community EVers there. Was that sort of help sway you kind of in this direction?
You know, I don't think I even knew about it. I think if I got in my car and drove from Whistler to Vancouver, what I knew about was 3 more mountains with lots of snow on them at the time. So, but and I grew up here. I grew up in North Van, so I certainly know the city very well in terms of what my interests were at the time. But shortly after starting this company, with nothing more than willpower, and started raising money from friends and family and angel investors in the community, and then got tapped into a couple of engineers. I myself am not an engineer or physicist or anything, and I said, well, this is what we have to do. And I got a lot of support from a very busy Ford dealership here in town. They're Western Canada's largest fleet Ford dealer, and they said, if you're going to do that, I've got a whack of customers for you. And so that really propelled us forward, and I hired a couple of engineers after raising a very small amount of money, and said, by the end of this year, we have to have an electric vehicle based on a Ford platform working. And so we spent 4 or 5 months converting it in the common way that you know, with DC drive motors and Mozilla controllers and all that off-the-shelf technology. And what I found, though, in 2008 and 2009 was that BC is a hotbed of electric vehicle engineers and physicists, from people from Ballard and Eagle Pitcher and Xantrex and Delta Q, and the list just goes on, and component electronics companies and many, many others. So there's something like, at a peak, there was 1,400 electric vehicle and chemical fuel cell storage engineers working at Ballard who are no longer employed, but there's just a real talent pool here.
Right.
So we're very fortunate to tap into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talent.
So why did you decide? I mean, this was kind of an area that, you know, the guys at Dynasty were doing the little tiny cars, and Ballard, of course, was working on mainly buses and that scale. So what attracted you to doing the type of vehicle we see behind you?
Well, that came from those 5 years of research for me. Like I said, I spent about 2002 to 2007 looking at the whole spectrum of the industry and slowly hacking away down to what kind of fuel source and powertrain technology I believed would be the best, which is the reason we don't do plug-in hybrids anymore. I don't believe it's a necessary solution for the market we're going after at this time. And then it came to looking at, well, what does everybody drive? Where could we make the most leverage in the types of vehicles people drive and the number or the amount of fuel types they consume? And it became pretty obvious that in the fleet market, you cut it down to the passenger fleet market, which has the most effect on people like you and me. And then, well, what do those people drive? They drive Fords, and then Chevy GM, and then Dodge Chrysler.
Right.
And that meant Ford was the biggest leverage point in the passenger fleet market. So that really, then it was a matter of, well, what vehicles do they drive? Ford F-150, all the way. Millions of Ford F-150s. And then Ford Escapes, Ford Focuses, Crown Victorias are all kind of runners-up. So that's why we're focusing on what you see over my shoulders, the Ford Escape and also Ford F-150s. We've got a couple of them right over there we're working on for our customers as well.
Okay, good. Now, all right, so let's talk about the company, REV, or Rapid Electric Vehicles. How many people are there at this point with the company? How big are you?
No, we're not big, but we're certainly full of ambitions and aspirations around here. We have 13 engineers full-time.
Okay.
Engineers, physicists, scientists, just about everybody has spent somewhere between 2 and 10 years at Ballard and similar companies around town. There's a few good wind power companies working on permanent magnet propulsion systems and things like that. So a lot of expertise around the area of motor controllers and motors and chemical storage. And everybody just, immense passion. Everybody here is an owner in the company. And I firmly believe in us all taking a bigger part of what we do together.
All right, well, let's talk about the vehicles there behind us. Those are the Escape vehicles. You start off with, I assume, just a straight gasoline vehicle, or you do start off with a hybrid? Kind of walk us through the process.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'll start off before that by saying that at present and for the past couple of years, our go-to-market strategy has been around taking vehicles our customers already have, so taking a utility company or a municipality who have literally thousands of F-150s and Ford Escapes in their fleet, all gas vehicles, so no hybrids, and they deliver those to us, and we strip them down to what's called a rolling glider. So we take the engine, the transmission, the fuel tank, and the fuel lines and exhaust line out of the vehicle, right? So it's just a basic stripped-down rolling glider. And then we have spent 2 years now developing a proprietary propulsion and power management system that includes the permanent magnet powertrain with a single-speed gearbox transmission and all of the vehicles, ECU, all of the systems and battery management and liquid-cooled and heated thermal management systems and battery packs are developed into 4 simple modules. So all that complex technology and all those systems and subsystems and air conditioning and heat and everything is now installable in less than 2 hours with 4 simple modules. So there's an upper assembly that drops in under the hood. There's a lower assembly, which is mostly the mechanical powertrain and drive shafts to the wheels. And then in the back, there's 2 battery packs that fit snug up where the gas tank used to be. We don't compromise ground clearance or center of gravity. Actually, we lower center of gravity, but a fully operational vehicle that's only a couple 100 pounds heavier than its original gas counterpart. So that's how we're doing it today. We're providing all electric, 100% electric fleet vehicles to our customers. And our long-term vision, really just around the corner now, is to be able to get brand new rolling gliders from an automotive supplier. And we're negotiating with a couple where we'll be able to offer 100% electric brand new fleet vehicles to our customers.
Okay, now, well, so that's kind of news. Are you using a North American OEM, or are you talking offshore, Korea, China, that type of thing, or can you say at this point?
Well, I could say that we're talking to both.
Okay.
At this point, yeah.
Okay, all right. So the goal here is not just to be in the business of converting fleets, vehicles, excuse me, that already have their pool of vehicles, but also introducing brand new vehicles then as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.